So, spy missions. For many players, these are their least favorite parts of the game, and I cannot blame them for that. These things are just sort of annoying, full of traps to bypass, enemies to sneak by, and cameras to try and avoid. But despite all of these infuriating little problems, most spy missions are completely trivialized by the Rift Magician. While he may not have a straight-up stealth like Loki and Avara, Limbo has his own highly effective ways of making sure nothing will ever touch that stupid little alarm. And showing how that works is what this guide is going to be about. I will not break down every single spy area just because that would make this video ridiculously long. And basically, the strategies I'm covering will in some way or other work for every zone. It's just there's going to be some limitations, and I will try to mention those when they come up. Anyways, let's begin by covering the weaker but more well-known part of Limbo as a spy, Riftwalk. You see, while Limbo is in the void, none of those energy barrier type traps can touch him. This includes the lasers on Corpus missions and the energy draining doorways and such that the Grineer set up. In addition, while he's in the void, he can just dance on top of any mines that he runs into without setting them off. And yes, Riftwalk is just a nice little perk. It usually saves you at least a little time on most missions, but unless we are talking about Lua, this is the weaker part of Limbo's capabilities as a spy. What's far more important is, well, actually all of his abilities. Although depending on your mod setup, you may choose to only use Banish and Stasis. You see, if Stasis is active and you banish something, it's instantly and silently taken off of the field. You can then kill it or even just outright ignore it if you've got enough duration to finish the spy zone before Stasis wears off. This works through walls, it works against Vahek's little floaters, it outright kills Corpus cameras, and yeah, it's just a safe and easy way to nullify and get past individual enemies. If you want, you can build for range and make banishing even easier, but banish actually becomes less important once you get more range. You see, you can use Cataclysm here too, though if you came with a short range build, it's fairly useless. While you could use it to target cameras on the other side of walls, Banish can do the same thing slightly faster. The real benefit comes from the large bubbles and how they interact with Rift Surge. Wait, Rift Surge? That weird ability that most new Limbos unlock and then just don't know what it's used for? Yeah, this is one of its uses. Just activate Stasis, drop a Cataclysm at your feet, turn on Rift Surge, and then release Cataclysm. Everything hit by the Cataclysm should now be banished, as should anything that was near any enemy that was at the edge of the Cataclysm, and they won't be able to sound the alarm until Stasis wears off. Just keep in mind a few things. First, this will not always cover the entire area. Keep an eye out for the occasional loose enemy. Second, you'll definitely want a combined duration and range build when using this. Obviously not enough range means less things are turned into statues, but since some enemies and sorties can immediately set off alerts as soon as Stasis wears off, less duration means more pressure to either hunt down and kill every enemy, or finish the spy area before the alert goes off. Finally, it is very important to make sure you activate Rift Surge from the center of your Cataclysm. This is why you aim it at your feet. Rift Surge has basically the same range as Cataclysm, but it is focused on Limbo while Cataclysm can be aimed wherever. So if you hit something with Cataclysm, but do not hit it with Rift Surge, all you'll be doing is blasting it, alerting it to your presence, and yeah, it will be out of the void and probably not really like being thrown between dimensions much. So yeah, you don't want to screw this up. Anyways, all of those powers combined make Limbo able to basically nullify every single defense on all spy missions except for Kuva Fortress, Uranus, and Lua. As for those missions, there are some things you need to be a bit more careful about. First, the Kuva Fortress has these little annoying cameras that cannot be banished or stasised in any way. You'll actually have to sneak past them. This is pretty easy to do, and he can use his other tricks to handle everything else here, but you will need to be slightly more careful with this mission than normal. As for Lua, Limbo's abilities do help tremendously to speed up and get past 2 of the points, but if you're the member of the group that gets stuck with this horrible little platforming section, you're going to need to stay out of the rift until you manage to get past it. And finally, Uranus. Limbo is just fine for 2 of the points and can make both of them much faster, but no part of his kit helps with either the Arcwing section or how awful players tend to be here during sorties. Anyways, I think that covers basically everything. Spy missions can be a bit of a headache for most warframes, but Limbo is one of, if not the most capable of all warframes at handling them. He may not have the ability to just walk past cameras or teleport past lasers, but he trades it for the ability to just walk past all enemies and straight through any lasers, as well as sometimes just disable all potential threats the instant he steps into the area. So if you're looking for a good spy and don't mind looking especially stylish for a little bit, Limbo will comfortably take you through almost every variant of the mode that's currently in the game. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you later. Farewell.